Deciding what bottle to buy at your local liquor store is not exactly as straightforward as picking out a jar of peanut butter at the market. Watch out for these mistakes you might be making when hunting down the perfect pick-me-up. If pop culture has taught us anything, it's that bottom shelf is code for pure trash. So the stuff on the bottom must be the swill that's only fit for the college kids looking to get loaded as quickly as possible, right? Not so fast. You might actually be able to score some decent liquors on the bottom shelf that won't leave your stomach feeling like it's about to crawl its way out of your abdomen, depending on what type of liquor, of course. You're going to be much better off shopping for a bottom shelf gin or vodka than you will for a bottom shelf tequila. Playboy columnist and vodka expert Jason Horn explains, "Sometimes the bottom shelf vodkas can be just as good as the expensive ones. For the most part, vodka pricing is based on marketing and image. So there you have it. No need to break the bank to get your mitts on some quality booze."
Are you drunky? No?
Am I drinking?
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done.
Okay.
Tequila is definitely one of those spirits that you either love or hate with the vengeance of an angry Aztec god. Even among those who do drink tequila, many of us don't touch the stuff if it's not in a margarita. But tequila could be on your list of forbidden liquors because you've been drinking the wrong type. A good tequila is 100% made from blue agave plants, but quite a few popular brands peddle what experts call a mixto. This means that only around 51% of it comes from agave sugars, and the rest is a bunch of garbage alcohol and sugars added to cut down on costs. As a general rule of thumb, look for a 100% agave note on the label. Failure to do so could leave you kneeling in front of the toilet and having unwanted flashbacks from spring break at Senor Frog's.
Tequila is my lady! My lady!
Buying whiskey can be a little intimidating, as just about any liquor store is bound to have a large selection of the ever-popular drink. With so many bottles to choose from, how do you ever pick one? Experts say you shouldn't start by looking at the age. Ewan Gunn, brand ambassador for Diageo Beverage Company, told Business Insider, "People have this perception older is always better, which is not always the case." Gunn recommends judging by, surprise, the flavor that you like, and he says that some newer whiskeys might taste better to your palate than ones that have been aged longer. Now, this isn't to say that aging a whiskey isn't important, just that buying the oldest bottle you can find in the shop doesn't necessarily mean it's going to taste better. The thought of rum might conjure up tiki drinks and Ernest Hemingway-inspired cocktails, but rum doesn't have to be tied down to the islands. Yes, it did originate in the West Indies, but there's no reason that you should only buy rum that was made at a distillery surrounded on all four sides by water. What we're getting at is that pirates and palm trees on the bottle aren't a requirement for good rum. According to Kenneth McCoy, a founding partner of New York City bar The Rum House, good rum can come from just about anywhere. McCoy says both Venezuela and Guyana both have a history of making quality rums that shouldn't be discounted. Award-winning rums are even being made in the United States at places like Charleston's Striped Pig Distillery and Maggie's Farm in Pittsburgh. Last time we checked, Pittsburgh was nowhere near the ocean, which proves our point that a tropical breeze isn't a requirement for a quality rum. Whether it's whiskey, vodka, or gin, there are certain brands that are synonymous with particular liquors, thanks to slick advertising. Unfortunately, this means you could be missing out on some really good and quite affordable spirits by only buying labels that you recognize from commercials and magazine ads. There's nothing wrong with finding what you like and sticking with it, but as they say, variety is the spice of life. The fact that 3 brands account for 60% of rum sales further proves that many of us aren't shopping around for different brands. Ask your friends what they like, or better yet, tell the bartender or liquor store employee your usual go-to brand and ask them to recommend an alternative that might be equally or more appealing. Alternatively, go ahead and pick up a bottle from a brand you've never heard of and give it a go. What's it gonna hurt?